My name is Jennifer Moffett. I'm a wife, a mom, a nurse. I've lived in Rhode Island most of my life. I did grow up in Western New York. I grew up in the country and I live in the city, so I have a little experience with both sides of that. I actually came with a whole plan of what I was going to say, but after hearing a lot of what other people have said, I'm going to kind of change. I've made a lot of notes, so bear with me because it's a little bit confusing. But these are very charged, emotionally charged events that just happened, and we're all scared for our kids, every one of us, regardless of what side you're on. The problem is there's a fundamental difference in how we approach that. One side thinks that banning the guns is the answer, and the other side thinks that protecting our rights is the answer. So the problem is that we are going to be emotionally charged as moms and as dads and as citizens, but your job is to put that aside. Your job is to take the emotional part out of it and look at the facts. And the facts stand behind guns. They do not stand behind gun control. And that is a fact. And I've heard lots of people making a bunch of comments. And so I'm going to comment on a few of those. Somebody saying more guns equals more violence. Factually untrue. I've got a whole pack here. I won't go through them. But the FBI statistics from their own website clearly show that overall homicides in this country have declined. They're at a 50-year low. 50 years. They're at the lowest they've been. They're down 49%, despite the fact that gun ownership has increased throughout that time. People made comments about Australia. You're right. Violence is down. Gun ownership is up. Everybody talks about how they have this big gun ban. When they confiscated guns, they only took 640,000 away from them, left another 2.5 million in their hands. And since then, it has increased to over 5 million. They have guns. That's why they're protecting themselves. So the fact that you look and say, oh, they made a gun ban and now they're safer, isn't exactly a fair assessment of what has been happening there. We have to look at, again, somebody mentioned earlier, statistics can be altered to fit our agenda, but I beg of you to look at all of these facts and look at all of the situations out there. One of the things somebody mentioned, actually a woman mentioned about mental health. And I actually found what she was talking about. It came from the American Journal of Public Health, the comment that she made. They actually said that this is actually going towards the red flag bill. As a nurse, I'm horrifyingly opposed to the entire idea. The idea that we would risk our Fourth Amendment in order to feel a little safer is horrifying to me, and the few people I heard that actually mentioned the idea of circumventing due process just boggles my mind. That you would risk our liberty for something like that just boggles my mind. The idea of attacking mental health is very disturbing to me. According to the American Journal of Public Health, less than 3 to 5% of U.S. crimes involve people with mental illness. Up to 60% of mass shooters displayed acute symptoms of paranoia. However, to use Swanson's paraphrasing, basing gun crime prevention effects on the mental health histories of mass shooters knows building common evidence from uncommon things. Psychiatrists using clinical judgments are not much better than chance at predicting which individuals are going to be violent. Just because somebody has mental health issues does not mean they're going to be violent. The statistics do not bear that out, not at all. And to the idea that we're going to assume because somebody has mental health that there's a chance they're going to be violent is an abhorrent idea. And all we're going to do is scare more people away from going and getting mental health help. We've been fighting for years to encourage people to go out and get help when they have mental health illness. And all we're going to do now is scare people away. People are going to be labeled now. You're going to label them. You're going to risk people coming into your house and searching your house and taking everything away from you to protect your own family because somebody else says that you might have it. And then you have to prove that you don't, or you have to prove that you're not violent. This does not bear this out. We have to think very, very strongly before we do this. One of the things I'd like to do is put a face to gun owners. I heard a lot of people testifying, a lot of kids testifying about how they're so petrified of the idea of a gun being in their school. I hate to break it to you, but they wouldn't even know they were there. A concealed gun owner are all around you. They're all around you. They're in your grocery stores, they're in your banks. They're all, and you don't even know. The kids wouldn't even know. And I'll tell you right now, I've spent the last year with an incredible group of people that I've met. Almost all of them concealed carry. They all own guns and shoot. They are the most responsible people I have ever met in my entire life. And I would want them protecting my child all day, every day. What you have to go through to get a concealed carry is extensive. These people, I've actually been surprised with how incredibly responsible they are. They are so cognitive of all of the gun laws and all of the things that they need to do to be safe. They're aware that if they're going into an unsafe situation, they think about that first. These people that everybody has lumped together in a group, there are friends, there are neighbors, there are nurses, there are doctors, there are lawyers, they're all genres of life. These people would give their life to protect you, not even knowing you. And if they choose to protect my child in a school, I am all for it. And I hate to, there's an interesting thing I don't think anybody has stopped to think about. I hear a lot of people talk, oh, I'm not going to arm a teacher. There's a lot of other people in a school. There's maintenance men, there's principals, there's nurses. I'm a nurse. I'd be more than happy to do that. There's a lot of other people besides teacher that could be prepared, people that are willing to step in and do this. And the other thing is that the idea of knowing that somebody in that school might be armed, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100. The idea, that is going to deter people. Because I can guarantee you these shooters are cowards. They're not going into banks. They're not coming here to the courthouses. They're not going places that are protected. They're going to soft targets. They're going into churches and schools. And if they thought for 1 minute that there was even one person in that school that might shoot back, they won't go in. I can guarantee you that. And I would be perfectly fine with my daughter. And I'll tell you what, my daughter, she's 16. She wanted to come today. She would have been the only child in this place that would have had the same opinion. She's at her job today because she got her first job and it was her second day, so she couldn't not come. She was very upset. She wanted to be here. And I can guarantee she would tell you that she would be more than happy to have any one of my friends here protecting her every day. And she would walk into that school and feel so safe and so protected and wouldn't for 1 second be worried about anything else other than getting her education. And that is what we need. We need to protect our schools, not with taking our guns away, but by bringing them in. We need to protect our children, and we have to find the right ways to do it. We have to, all of these, there's a million ways that we can do it. There are so many different ways. I wish, please, I beg of you, to look at what others, there are lots of states that do this already. This is not a good new idea. There's plenty of states out there to do it, and they're very safe, and they've had no incidents. Have you heard it? Because I'm guaranteeing you right now, if there was a problem, if a teacher had shot somebody in school and had gone rogue, we would hear all about it. There is one that just happened in Georgia, but that doesn't count because he already had mega issues and shouldn't have had a gun to begin with. He wasn't a concealed carry. He did not have that appropriately, so that shouldn't even be in the conversation. But please, look at the schools in the other states that are doing this. Look at how they've done it. It's working. Let's look at what Rhode Island is one of the safest states in this country. It's one of the few things that we can brag about. And Rhode Island is showing up on the news all the time for all these things, and we're embarrassed. We're the top of the list for all these terrible things. This is one thing we're at the top of the list for. Let's celebrate that. Let's look at what we're already doing, right? And let's do it everywhere. My daughter's school, she goes to Tollgate. When I show up at the school, I have to wave to the camera, put my ID up at the camera, let them know who I am before I come in. My daughter says she feels pretty safe at her school. She knows, we talked about it, she knows about all the different things that are being done in her school to keep her safe. Let's model that. Let's look at the schools that are doing it right, and let's model it. Let's look at the states that are doing it, and let's model that instead of just going to the easiest solution and just getting rid of guns. It doesn't work. We can look at all of the countries that do it, and it doesn't work.